Welcome to Company Showcase, an advertising feature on HowStreet.com.
I'm Jim Goddard. I'm speaking with Larry Reaugh, the CEO and President of American Manganese. Welcome back to the show, Larry.
Thanks, Jim. Always happy to be on the show.
We have a review of one of your news releases, and then we're going to talk about Cobalt.
Yes, I think that the news release speaks for itself. It basically says all the accomplishments the company made last year, which were excellent. Everything just worked perfectly for us. And then we're going to talk about the ongoing programs coming up. And one of those things that we're going to talk about is a business plan, which we hope to be able to start to show the economics of what this is all about. And that said and done, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I'm getting criticism, of course, on from my predator friends about the fact that I'm complaining about the getting shorted. But it's not obvious to anybody that I'm getting shorted. Maybe they should look at the closes every day, where 500 to 2,000 shares goes down to the lowest price of the day after day after day. And the other thing is they say there's not enough liquidity in the stock to be shorting it. Well, we've traded 380 million shares in a year and a half, which is 2.5 times the float. If that's not liquidity, I don't know what liquidity is. But moving on to more positive things, people should review that press release, because it's got interesting things we talk about, like a business plan, the fact that we are pursuing a partner, and what we're going to do going forward. Now, I'd like to talk about Cobalt, because there's a lot of things in the news about Cobalt lately. And Cobalt has recently hit a high of $78,500 a ton, currently trading at $77,000 a ton, which is a significant increase from the $75,000 that we talked about before. Now, what about Cobalt? Well, Glencore's coming on. I see numbers from 17,000 tons a year up to 29,000 tons a year. I see articles that this is going to drive the price of cobalt down. And for all intents and purposes, if it does slow the rise in the price of cobalt, it's not going to make a lot of difference to us, because these prices are just wild. For any kind of a startup that we may do. And it's also wild for any cobalt miner out there. So it wouldn't hurt to have the market stabilize a bit and some more supply coming on. We need that. And to give you an example, I was reading where Japanese traders could not get delivery of cobalt in December. There was none to be had. All the 2017 cobalt was gone. So that tells you that we're getting close to critical here when it comes to the supply of cobalt. Now, the Katanga project, which is Glencore's project that's coming on, will eventually produce up to, on their estimates, about 29,000 tons of extra cobalt a year. But, how fast are we increasing on the cobalt side, on the demand side of it? It's going quite fast. There's all kinds of ways to bring that down, and one of them is to reduce the amount of cobalt in a battery. So when you reduce the amount of cobalt and the other materials that go with it, you're reducing the efficiency of the battery. So, that's a reluctant step that anybody will take. Cobalt replacement does the same thing. And then we got to turn around and look at, what else is happening in the cobalt stream that could impact the price? Well, the DRC are talking about doubling the royalty that they have on cobalt from 5 to 10%. And when you stop and think about it, any existing miner out there is not going to feel that too bad, but they're going to push back. If they don't push back, then they're setting themselves up for a 20% or a 25% down the road. So you'll see the producers of cobalt pushing back on this legislation that's coming out of the DRC. that's to be expected. You're seeing that all over the world where, governments get, eyeballs for the treasuries of the companies that are producing these things, forgetting the fact that they took all the risks and spent the billions of dollars to get it going. Now the government wants a unfair share. So, Cobalt, I think Cobalt is going to be in play. It's going to be up and down here in the next year or two. I still believe it'll break $80,000 a ton in the next 6 months. And, I just want people to know that we, American Manganese, will be a cobalt producer. It's not going to be a producer from mines. It'll be a producer from spent batteries and also scraps. So the people have to start recognizing that we're a player in that market, and because we're not getting the spillover from the excitement that's beginning to build in the cobalt market itself. I mean, we're not looking at a project that has to be drilled. We're not looking at a project that has to have a feasibility study or be permitted or years away from production. We're looking at batteries. We know how much cobalt is in each battery. And if you look back at some of our press releases, we've indicated what some of those batteries contain in the cathode materials. So, yes, we are a player in the cobalt market, and we will eventually become a prominent player. And people, maybe not the market so much is recognizing this, but some of the people out there that are in the business are recognizing it. And so I can't talk about what we're doing currently about that, but we are active in that area, which means I put in the thing, seeking a partner. And I just want the shareholders to know that the company is trying to capitalize on the fact that we do get 100% of the cathode metals back, and that we believe that we can show it this can be done on a continuous basis with a pilot plant, and we do know that we can get enough scraps to, for a small commercial plant, 2-3 tons, maybe a little more, of production a day. And that's not insignificant when it comes to the bottom line for a company, because if we get scraps, our costs go way down. We have labor, basically a little bit of power, and the reagent cost. And that's pretty much covers the whole base on that. So what I want people to think about, and our shareholders to think about, is we are an up-and-coming cobalt producer, and that they should start regarding us in that light, no different than they do for a company that's going out seeking resources to capitalize on a feasibility study or eventual production of a mine. And our mines are already known. We know what the content is. We don't have to drill it. We don't have to take it apart and evaluate what's in it. We know before the battery's ever taken apart just exactly how much cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, and aluminum are in those batteries. So we're off to the resource show. Just to let everybody know, we'll have a booth there, 708, and we'll be manning that booth. I've got a lot of meetings set up down there. I may not be at the booth all the time, but you can leave messages there for me. And I expect that this is going to be a great show for us, and I expect the show we're going to in Silicon Valley on February the 1st is even going to be a greater show. So I wish you a great weekend, Jim, and I wish the shareholders a great weekend. And we're off to the show on Sunday.
Larry, where is American Manganese traded, and how can people find out more information about the company?
American Manganese is traded on the TSX Venture Exchange. It's under the symbol AMY.V. It's traded on the U.S. exchange under the symbol AMYZF. And it's traded in Frankfurt under the symbol 2AM. We have a website, AmericanManganeseInc.com, where you can find all the up-to-date news and any PowerPoints that we may have, or drawings or whatever, pictures. They're on the website. And you can always reach me at LREAUGH@AMYMN.com, or phone the office directly at 778-574-4444.
Larry, thanks for the update.
Well, thanks, Jim.
I've been speaking with Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. We were speaking on January 19th. I'm Jim Goddard.
Comments made on Company Showcase are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at HowStreet.com. Company Showcase is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.